Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. And there's a reason why my name is Silver Slayer and not Gold Slayer. There's a reason why they call it Wall Street Silver and not Wall Street Gold. There's a reason why it's called the Silver Institute and not the Gold Institute. There's a reason why it's such a big silver stacking community on YouTube and not so much gold. There's reasons for this. And I really hope you stick all the way through this video. Grab some popcorn, kick your feet up, even a snack, because this video is going to basically validate that silver is going to overtake gold and that silver is the new gold. And if you are a cold-blooded silver stacker, then prove it. Show me you are. Like this video if you are a real silver stacker. I'm also offering to give you a disgustingly large amount of silver shipped straight to your front doorstep. All you gotta do is click one button and type 5 letters. How's that? Go enter my 60,000 subscriber silver giveaway. The entry video is live. And actually, Andy Schechtman is donating to the winner as well, so the prizes are even bigger. Speaking of Andy Schechtman, he's the CEO of Miles Franklin. If you want to purchase from them, which that's the company that filled the $50 million order, that billionaire from Texas, 900,000 Eagles, all filled in 2 days, a couple of days, I can offer you that relationship as well. I got you sourced up with them. Just send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. You could purchase whatever you want. Let them know you want a tube of Eagles, 5 tubes of Eagles, 3 generic rounds, plus 5 gold bars, whatever you want. Some junk silver, he will fill that order. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you. He will be happy to hear it. Now, what is this article talking about? Well, he's comparing how the mint ratio has changed over time, talking about the correlation between silver and gold. Silver used to be directly correlated with gold, followed gold's footsteps almost exactly. If gold went up, silver went up. If gold went down, silver went down. But something's happening. Like I've been predicting for the last couple of years, silver's going to take on a life of its own. It's not just going to be following in gold's footsteps forever. Silver's going to branch off, and silver's going to do what it does regardless of what gold's doing. And that's what this article is mentioning. And also mentioning why that's happening. Why my name is Silver Slayer and not Gold Slayer. But to a more complex degree than just saying it's more affordable. Like a lot of people try to just play that angle. It's more affordable. There's a lot of other reasons, buddy. So let's jump into this. Link to this article will be in the description. Gold and silver prices tend to move together, but what causes them to move relative to one another? Over the past half century, gold and silver prices have shown a strong positive correlation. This has been especially true during the past 20 years when the correlation between the prices of these two metals have been consistently higher than positive 0.7. And it's kind of funny because back in like biblical days, ancient times, people saw silver as for what it was, right? Because back then it just seems like there was no politics, there was none of this corrupt stuff. Silver was magical, it still is. It can purify water. It responds to other elements like no other metal. It has antimicrobial properties. There's colloidal silver in the medical world. It's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, even light sensitivity. It just does a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of uses where gold is basically just valuable because it's shiny. You know, it's kind of funny to say that, but gold just sits around. It's not used for anything. There's a tiny bit of gold in electronics. I used to scrap gold out of cell phones myself, but there's a very, very, very small amount. Most gold is used for jewelry, coins, and bars. So just to show off. That's all it. So why is gold 80 times more expensive than silver when silver's 80 times more useful than gold? It's kind of funny. The prices should be flip-flopped, and I think as the reason that silver has this new angle above gold, or not even a new angle, I think that's what's going to detach silver's price from gold's price. While gold and silver have a strong positive correlation, the ratio of the prices has ranged widely from 1 ounce of gold buying as few as 30 ounces of silver in 2011 to many as 120 ounces in 2020. And that was insane. When the gold to silver ratio was 125 to 1 in March of 2020, that's something we'll be reading about in history books. What explains the large relative moves in the prices of these two metals? And by the way, as he was talking about the gold to silver ratio, back in ancient biblical times, like I was talking about, the ratio was 2.5 to 1. 2.5 ounces of silver could equal 1 ounce of gold. And it was actually written as 2.5 part silver equals 1 part gold, which, that makes sense. And even makes sense to say 8 to 1 because that's the ratio it comes out of the Earth's crust. So if you wanted to just go off of that, then that makes sense. But 80 to 1, 125 to 1, even 16 to 1 is pretty crazy. And it actually was 16 to 1 until 1930s when FDR got in office and changed it from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1. And also, what happened in 1930s? The Executive Order 6102 when FDR confiscated everyone's gold, bought it for $35. So anyways, silver's fabrication demand, or actually let's move up above this. What explains the large relative moves in the price of these two metals? Silver tends to outperform gold during periods of strong expansion, and I call silver the best of both worlds. Whether the economy's in good or bad shape, silver benefits. Gold only rises when the economy's, going, stuff's hitting the fan, basically, or economic turmoil. That's when gold benefits. Silver, regardless, because when the economy's expanding, when things are going good, silver's used in all that technology. Whereas gold tends to do better during turndowns, like I was just saying. The reason can be found in their end uses. Gold is mostly used as an investment in jewelry. Silver, meanwhile, has a wider range of uses, although one of its biggest uses has just about disappeared. Wow. One of its previously biggest uses has disappeared, but there's many other bigger uses, much bigger than just, digital cameras. But anyways, before the advent of digital cameras, more than 250 million ounces of silver were used per year to develop photographs. However, the rise of digital cameras has reduced this source of silver demand by over 80%, tarnishing silver's value relative to gold. Now, things come in waves, especially when we're talking about a new digital technological era that we're advancing in. There's just going to be more technology or technological applications being discovered. Electric vehicles, for instance. Every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be an EV. What about solar panels, photovoltaic cells that's used in solar panels? What about silver lithium-ion batteries? What about laptops, cell phones, 5G towers? What about these other things, space equipment? All of this stuff was stuff back when digital cameras weren't even, when digital cameras were booming, electric vehicles weren't a thing, right? Electric vehicles weren't a thing, but now that the demand of these new applications will replace digital cameras by tenfold, especially when we look at the silver shortage moving forwards. As most silver's thrown away, recycling isn't very high, and plus there's very few silver miners. So anyways, let's look at this fabrication demand. You got to remember, when you look at this stuff, you got to put more context to it. You got to look at the bigger picture. So anyways, the good news for silver is that it's finding new uses in the energy transition. Silver usage in batteries and electronics nearly doubled in 1999. Silver also found a new use in solar panels. Together, batteries and solar panels have now nearly replaced the lost demand. See, that's what I was just saying, right? See, the way he set it up here was like nothing replaced it. But yeah, batteries and solar panels alone nearly replaced the lost demand from these digital cameras for photography. That might put silver in a better foot going forward. And that's what this is what I was just saying. I haven't even read this article yet, but I'm already saying everything I'm saying everything that he's about to say. And even more though, because just if you're talking about what did they say replaced it? Just batteries and solar panels nearly replaced all the lost demand, but think about all the other things as well. Electric vehicles in the next 5, 10 years is going to be bigger than digital cameras, batteries together, maybe even solar panels. EV sector is going to be the biggest industrial sector beyond solar panels. I can guarantee that. Solar panels have a very small half-life as well, and they're not recycled. But anyways, that might put silver on a better foot going forwards. I can guarantee that, right? That's a guarantee. That's not a maybe. And even more so, if you really think about the lack of silver, there's not a gold shortage. Go try to buy gold online. The premiums are non-existent because gold isn't scarce. Premiums on silver are existent because silver's scarce. Gold is recycled, re-scrapped, reused. And that's because it's used for jewelry and coins, which are then pawned or sold and then melted down into more jewelry and coins. Because it's something that's always getting sold and traded and back into the hands of someone who's going to melt it. But silver's used in laptops and all these technological devices that are a lot harder to scrap, right? Pawning a necklace or a gold bar or coin, that's easy to get melted back down. But when you're talking about silver in electric vehicles and 5G towers and all these other things, that stuff is thrown away. The silver in it is never recycled. So you could think about the fact that we need silver at a much, much higher rate than gold, but gold is the only thing that we can really get, that's going to stay in circulation. That ounce of gold that gets dug up compared to that ounce of silver will stay in circulation 100 years. That ounce of silver that gets dug up is thrown away within a couple of decades. And silver's a byproduct. Most silver we dig up is found by accident. We look for gold, lead, and zinc. If we find silver, we'll take it, but we're not looking for it. We're not looking for silver. It's not even profitable. Miners are looking for something that's 80 times more valuable. When you're comparing an ounce versus an ounce, it makes no sense to look for silver since gold is so much more expensive. I mean, it makes sense. But anyways, those are some of the reasons. There are some other beneficial factors, like silver is more affordable. But like I said, gold, if you're talking about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, even if you're getting to tens of thousands, gold might also be something you want to branch off and diversify into because silver does take up a lot of storage space. You got to remember that. If you just have a little, 2 foot by 3 foot safe, that's not going to cut it. You're going to have to get something much bigger or find different hiding places. Even a safety deposit box for that matter. We're talking about some serious storage. It's not only that though; it goes a lot deeper. But for me, I do see gold as a very good store of value. If you're looking for something to just put your money in, kind of like a time capsule, gold is that. Silver is kind of that, but it also has a lot more opportunity to profit. Gold, when people invest in the gold, it's not so much for the profit. It's more of just, hey, I got $50,000 in my bank account. I know the dollar is, devaluing. It's collapsing. I need to put my money in gold. And that makes sense. We determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have, not how much money they print off. Right? And Silver Slayer, you just said we determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have. So let's determine that same principle from person to person. You're saying the guy that owns precious metals is more wealthy, quote unquote, than the person that has X amount of dollars in their bank account. And yes, if you want to be literal, if you want to be technical, we determine a country's wealth and use that same principle, then yes, whoever has precious metals is wealthier than the guy that has X amount of dollars in his bank account. And that's because precious metals are real money. But anyways, yeah, I like this article. I like that we were able to break down the fact that silver has a lot more potential than gold. And I am curious, though. I love passing the question to you. I love passing the question to you of, do you invest in the gold as well, or just strictly silver? And if you do invest in the gold, what percentage of your stack is it? And sometimes people use ratios like every 100 ounces of silver, I'll get an ounce of gold. Or, every 100 ounces, I'll get a half ounce. Or maybe every time you go on somewhere, you go to Miles Franklin, you'll buy a tube of Eagles and a quarter ounce of gold. Or something, along those lines. Is that something you do? And if so, why? There's got to be some type of strategy behind it. I mean, it does make sense. Or even you could look at it as my goal is to have 10,000 ounces in silver and, let's say, 100 ounces of gold or whatever, 50 ounces, whatever it is. What is that for you? I think that's such an important question because stacks can become unbalanced. Balance is key, and you want to have a diverse portfolio, but you also got to remember that there are other things beyond silver that also have reason to be investing in. And gold is the other one that makes sense. I don't know about others. Do you invest in the platinum or copper? Let me know about those as well. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Remember, if you want to enter my giveaway and potentially win a disgustingly large amount of silver, you have that option. Just go click one button and type 5 letters, and you're good. Go enter my 60,000 giveaway entry video. Links in the description. If you want to purchase from Miles Franklin, send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you. They'll be happy to hear it, and that's how you can support me for free. Support the channel. I'd appreciate that. Andy Scheckman, great guy, a great company to build a relationship with, to more of a direct source. That lady, the billionaire from Texas, she can't spend $50 million on Atmex. Atmex can't fill an order of 900,000 Eagles, but Andy can. Miles Franklin can do that. And to have that type of relationship with a person instead of a company, a person that can pull off getting over 800,000 Eagles since he only had 90,000 in inventory, he used his resources. He's one of the top dogs in the industry. To get to know him and be able to buy specifically through him, that could take you miles beyond just buying from some random third-party company where you don't know who's filling the order behind that screen. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate if you stuck through this far into the video. If you did, type down below AG47 forever, and also type strictly silver, or type one of those. Type strictly silver or AG47 forever or something like that. Let me know, because if you did, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.